Howdy, welcome back to another episode on the channel. If this is your first time, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because it does and definitely helps to keep this channel growing. We're on the way to 1K, so hit that subscribe button, guys. Don't forget to watch this video until the very end because we're very close to monetization. When I mean close, we need maybe about 1,000 hours. Turn on the notification bell so you're notified when I post newer videos. Let's get right into it.
So if you've ever wondered whether you might in fact be a digital hoarder, I strongly recommend that you read this piece in the New York Times, Your Thoughts, Their Cloud. The TLDR version being that we document every aspect of our lives, we save all of this media, and then we don't do anything with it. We don't know what to do with it. And I was reminded of how acutely I feel this problem just this morning, because after I wrapped up an interview with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and they asked me for a headshot, I went to go look for it and could not find it. So I just downloaded it from Facebook, which is even more shameful because it's the exact same solution that I used when I had to find it 2 weeks ago. I know that I have it saved somewhere. I probably have it saved in half a dozen places, on computers, on sticks, on the cloud. Which raises a related problem because in addition to saving everything, because who knows, it could be useful in the future, I don't know how to curate it. So it all just gets thrown into the pile in the digital corner, guaranteeing that I won't be able to find it next time either.
I want to talk about why I think that digital hoarding is a big issue. And the reason I want to talk about this is over the last 2 months, I have discovered that it has been super difficult to keep myself from hoarding digital footprints or whatever. Digital items have now become so burdensome to me that everywhere I go, on my laptops, on my phone, on my SD cards, it's all filled up. Why does it seem like a lot of people are obsessed about having to keep these things even when they know that they don't need it? This isn't just clutter. This is something deeper. And my predictions are that this is going to get much worse in the next 5 years. I believe that people hoard or keep digital files as a result of fear. And I also think that this is deeply rooted to the idea of losing one's self. People are scared of attachments, and people are also very scared of losing their identity. That is why a lot of people find it difficult to delete items from their phones. I predict that as content grows, we are going to find it much more harder to avoid hoarding. But I'm going to provide solutions to how we can manage or deal with this. Some of the reasons why this is going to become much worse in the next 5 years is due to one, the fact that content creation has never been easier than it has ever been. Now is the time where phones are easy and cheaper to afford. Craziest part, many of these phones come with extra storage where you don't need to worry, just click and you don't have to worry about storage. And the second reason is because storage has now gotten cheaper. These cloud companies are making huge promises where people don't have to worry about deleting anything. You can count on these cloud companies to provide you with unlimited storage spaces on your phone if you just paid that $7 or £7. That's how easy cloud companies have made storage cheaper. Remember those days where we had to buy a phone and it would only come with 2 GB RAM space, and every time we had to delete things and select our best photos to be on there? Now that is hardly a thing. When you talk about your phone space being 2 GB RAM, people look at you with weird faces. How did we get here? AI has now supercharged these problems. Imagine AI now being able to help you generate more than 10 different pictures for one issue. That's how crazy AI does this thing. AI can now sort out your files in date stamps and timestamps too. Which brings me to another topic. What is the cost of these negatively affecting us. There's a darker side to this. Here's the twist. The more we keep files, the less we remember. Yes, you want to hold on to those files because you think that you need them to remember. But the more we keep these files, the easier it is to forget about those memories. That is one of the darker sides. I'll reveal to you another dark side to all of this, and that is privacy. I know some of you guys hate to talk about this, but a potential for exposure is one of the biggest risks of digital hoarding. Scammers are everywhere on every website. Even companies as big as Facebook, Meta, and even Instagram, Twitter, and other platforms also struggle with data breach every now and then. A lot of people don't even think to ask themselves questions like, where are our deleted files getting stored? All of those data servers require a lot of energy consumptions, and I'm sure that doesn't quite make our environment the cleanest. The third reason I would like to highlight would be our emotional state of mind. Digital hoarding does more to us mentally. And that is where I would like to stress a little bit more on. Having subtle stress of wanting to delete which picture over the other is something that adds to our mental stress. Which brings me to highlight on a very essential aspect of digital hoarding, which is a paradox of memories, because a lot of people hoard digital memories simply because they don't trust their own memories. So most of us rely on having digital footprints to prove that we experienced something. And that's where the issue is, because the more we depend on digital files to refresh or awaken our senses, the more we make our memories weaker to store these data. So psychologists say that some of these memories are not in storage. Our memories are not in storage, but rather they live in storytelling. When we tell ourselves stories on events that happen in our lives, that enhances our memories. And when we outsource remembering to these digital files or folders, essentially what we're doing is that it stops us from rehearsing these stories in our mind. So what I envision happening in the next 5 years would be one of these two things. By 2030, an average person would own dozens of terabytes of personal data. There'll be digital traces of us everywhere. How scary is that? One cyber attack could potentially lead to dangerous outcomes for an individual, because this is an inevitable epidemic that we're facing. And this is an epidemic not of lost space, but of lost focus. It is an epidemic of lost privacy. It is also an epidemic of loss in our peace of mind. We have to learn to trust in our own memories rather than having these storage devices choose how you want your memories to be stored. But why is it that many people take these pictures and they are also very much afraid to post it? People are scared of missing out. FOMO is a real thing. There is one study of 801 Chinese college students, and this study found that digital hoarding positively predicted cognitive failures. That is, people actually forgot what they were doing. Some said they made errors because they were distracted. And this provides evidence that there are cognitive consequences, potentially memory error related to digital hoarding. That is why so many people, when they delete videos or access files on their phones, they feel like they've just deleted a part of themselves, because it is these digital files that hold the memories, not their memories itself. So we have to try to move and divert our attention from relying on these digital means of storage and relying more on our own abilities to store memories and information, so that when we delete these videos from our phones, our laptops, our iPads, we don't feel like we have just lost a huge part of ourselves. That is the essence of this video. Let's look at some of these TikTok videos.
Whenever I share my screen at work, I get absolutely roasted for the number of tabs that I have open. But I have to believe that surely there are tens of people like me. And like me means that right now you have at least 4 browser windows open, most of which have so many tabs that the top is so small you can't even read, or you're starting to be able not to read what it is, which prompts you to open up a new window. Sometimes you need a fresh window because you need to concentrate and you can't be distracted by all the other tabs. So you are like, no, I need a new window for this. And the only way that it stops is that you have so many windows and tabs open that eventually the browser crashes and you are finally freed from the prison of your own making, only to start the cycle over again.
I have to remind myself sometimes when I go 2 days off and come back to the same tab or window, I have to remind myself to actually just delete the entire thing and start afresh, because I know that I would barely go back to some of these videos. It's so relatable.
I have a confession. I believe I'm a digital hoarder. Besides the 40,000 plus items of things I have in my gallery, I have like 2 terabytes worth of travel content and photography and videos that I'm not sure when it's going to see the light of day, but I'm working hard to get it out. But I think just generally, we went from being able to store pretty much nothing in the early 2000s of like, maybe 2 gigabytes you would get most on like a camera or like even film, to now having like, 5+ terabytes that you can just easily buy off of Amazon or anything else. So I think it's fairly common that a lot of people, especially people who make content, have a lot of things they're sitting on and they're just not getting to. Who else has a vault of things that they're not sure is gonna...
And I'm not entirely saying storage is bad. That's not what I'm saying. I definitely appreciate when we have things that help us, not when we over rely on certain things, and that can affect us. So just being aware of how these things play a major role in our lives is super important. That's pretty much it for this video. If you did enjoy watching this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because it does help the channel a lot. That's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.